Hi, I'm Patty Elaine. Welcome back to 78 Reflections. I'm so glad you're here because today we are going to do yet another wobble reading with the Shadowland Tarot. If you're not familiar with the wobble reading, it's a 3-card spread that delves into two competing energies. So the cards at the bottom, 1 and 2, that's your wobble cards. It's the energies that are showing up for me in my day today that might be creating a bit of a wobble. And then the third card that I pull inspires me to ask a really good question that could help me skillfully navigate these energies that are showing up. So what I do in the morning, every morning I have a really beautiful tarot practice and I have coffee and cards, and now I'm sharing my coffee and cards with you. So I have pulled the cards already, and I have some notes in my journal that I might reference. The first card that came up, so I ask, what energy is showing up for me today? And it is the 4 of Wands. So the 4 card is about stability, and Wands is about passion. Oftentimes in the Waite-Smith depiction of this card, it is a celebration of a wedding. And for me, the card isn't so much about the celebration, but it's the gathering. It is the show of support from family and friends and community when we gather to celebrate, to acknowledge, I see you, I'm here for you, I'm showing up, I'm maybe offering a gift, I'm offering my love and my support. And that love and support is what creates the stability that the 4 card represents. And so, stability within our passion could be any sort of milestone that we meet along the way. Now, this card is interesting. The Shadowland Tarot, it keeps giving me images that really make me think. And when you think of the shadow side of the 4 of Wands, what I think they're showing here is what happens after the celebration. So everyone's gone, people are back to life, and I get a sense of warmth from this card. The yellow in the card, there's a couple of images up on the hill. Looks like maybe strolling arm in arm. And it's a castle, so it looks good. But there's also this sense of maybe everything's not perfect because you have this cobweb, you've got a couple spiders. And I think that that's an important element about milestones and celebrations is that we often think that when we reach a certain milestone, when we finally get that job, or when we finally lose that 25 pounds, or when we finally meet the right person and get married, then I'm going to get my shit together. Then things are going to be perfect. But in reality, we're still us at the end of that celebration. And that celebration is also not the end. It's usually the beginning of something else. And so there's still work to be done. We bring ourselves wherever we go. So we're still there in all of our imperfections after the celebration is over. And I think that's what is trying to be depicted here in this card. And that's definitely the energy I'm getting is so what happens after? And what's resonating for me and what's going on in my life right now is I am in the middle of this, not in the middle, I guess. I can't remember where I'm at, but I'm on this journey of 111 days of trying to get my shit together, eat a little healthier, move more, pay more attention to finances. And so I'm doing this with a friend, which is really fun because doing a 111-day trek of trying to take better care of yourself and do some important adulting is not a super fun journey, and doing it with someone else can be extremely helpful. And we've set this target date of June 1st. So June 1st is a milestone for us that we're planning to celebrate. But here's the thing. everything's not going to be perfect on June 1st. And so June 1st is a date to acknowledge, a date to cheers and maybe buy yourself a gift and acknowledge the work, the hard work. But it's not the finish line. It's just a marker on that journey. So that's really what came up for me in thinking about how this energy is showing up in my life. And so then the second card that I drew, the question I ask is, what energy is competing with this? And what came up is the Five of Cups. So the Five of Cups is a card that I am quite familiar with. And it's typically known as a grief card. And grief is part of life. There's always going to be loss and disappointments and discouragement. And typically in this card, there is a depiction of some cards in cups, some cups that are spilled, and usually some upright cards. So you can see in the behind this figure, there's a couple of upright, I think they're cans, but he doesn't look very happy. And he's really focusing on the ones that have tipped over and spilled. And that is the way disappointment often works, is that we tend to focus on what didn't go right. And we tend to focus on what we're disappointed in rather than turning around and looking at the cups that are still upright behind us. Now, that's not to say that when we have significant grief in our lives, that we should just shrug our shoulders and move on. But I think that for me, when I see the Five of Cups card, I always ask myself to consider what I'm not noticing. And in the context of how this is showing up for me, what occurs to me is that as I'm doing this 111 day project, my friend and I often talk about how disappointed we are in ourselves. And we focus a whole lot on what we're not doing. And I know for sure when we get to June 1, we're still going to be us, and we're still going to be imperfect, and we're still going to have all of the same things that we had at the beginning of the 111 days. Some messes in our house and some junk food in our drawer, and we're still going to be us. Does that mean we don't celebrate? No, we still should celebrate. And I think what this card is encouraging me to consider is, what are you focusing on? Are you focusing on what's gone wrong, or are you focusing on what's gone right? So what is a really good question to help us navigate these competing energies? Let's put that card there. No, I didn't put that card there. But the next card, you already saw it. This is the third card that helps us ask a really good question. And I love this card. I think this card was the reason why I bought this deck. And it is the Mother of Pentacles. This card showed up for us, was it yesterday or the day before? Which is also the Queen of Pentacles. So the Queen of Pentacles is a nurturing energy. It is a mother energy. But I love this image of the deer because I have deer all around me where I live. And in fact, I had 2 fawns that were in my yard last spring, and even to the fall. And so you can see in this image, the fawns, the twins. Yes, I do give them water. I do not give them food, but that's a tub of water when it's 35 degrees Celsius outside. It's hot. I give them some water. You can see on my driveway is the mama. She's looks a little worse for the wear. But the thing, I've had a front seat to how a doe mothers their fawns. And I can tell you they don't coddle them. So she would often leave them at my house all day. But she would come back if she sensed any danger. the doe is going to fiercely protect her fawns. She is going to make sure that they get well cared for. Trust me, she's come after my dog more than once. My dog does not chase them, but she's come after them because she's going to fiercely protect them. She wants to leave them safe, but she also teaches them to be independent. So it's not the coddling sort of mothering that I've seen with the doe and her fawns. It's a bit more of a tough mama love. So thinking of that, what is a really good question that can help us navigate these energies? We have the celebration and reaching a milestone. We have grief, disappointment from maybe things not going exactly as we had hoped that they would be. And the question that came up for me is, am I actually holding myself accountable? Because when the mother doe wants the fawns to come to her because she's worried about what's going on, this is not a request. This is a demand. And so it is a necessary thing. She doesn't mess around. And so I think that for me, what's coming up in the context of this project is, am I coddling myself or am I holding myself accountable? Because this nurturing, I think sometimes I can interpret it as, oh, I need to take care of myself. Yes, I do. But I need to do that in a way where I'm actually taking care of myself, not making excuses on why I don't want to do the thing that makes the most sense to take the best care of myself. So that's what has come up for me today in this wobble reading. And I don't know if these energies resonate with you, but I hope that they do. I hope that there's something that you're able to take away from my interpretation of these energies and the wobble and the really good question that can help me navigate through and realize that got to do the things, got to do the adulting. So thank you for joining me today, and I look forward to seeing you tomorrow for the next wobble reading.